Workers are already manning the polls this morning, preparing for primary voters to come in throughout the day. We'll have some hopefully helpful reminders.
Madison's upcoming Pride Parade will not have any police officers marching. We'll explain what's being done to improve the department's relationship with the LGBTQ community.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 This Morning. 6 o'clock on a very muggy already.
Yeah.
Tuesday, August 14th, primary election day.
Yeah, 64 degrees already out there this morning.
High dew point.
Dew point's about 64.
Blech.
You sound so smart when you say that.
I'm just telling Danica, I'm listening ahead.
Yeah. Did you write that down too? He always takes notes.
I do
haven't.
take
Yeah.
No notes yet.
Not
I'll have
yet.
to work on that today. It means I haven't said anything good yet. Well, our
not true.
forecast, rinse and repeat, maybe the emphasis on rinse, because it's going to be sticky once again. Here's a look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Kind of a hazy shot this morning. Sun coming above the horizon right about now, but with all the moisture in the atmosphere, not able to see that just yet. Here's a look at fog and visibility. Still dealing with some fog through the Wisconsin River Valley. That's typical when the moisture is this high in the atmosphere. Visibility is right about 1/4 mile. Not a whole lot happening to change our forecast at all. So once again, we're headed to highs in the upper 80s today. We are in the 60s across southern Wisconsin this morning. We'll climb to highs right around 87, which was exactly where we were yesterday. Heat index, though, will be in the low 90s. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We are dealing with a couple of issues in Jefferson County. There is an accident on Highway 26 southbound near Hartwig Boulevard. Also a stalled vehicle further to the east in Jefferson County. So be aware of those two incidents right along the interstate. Otherwise, here in Madison, no accidents report or slowdowns just yet. If you are traveling into the city on those major routes, still looks like you're going at posted speeds.
The kids were sapped energy-wise yesterday after hanging out outside all day.
It's tough.
It's good stuff.
Another one today.
As a parent, we're like, it's good stuff right
Early
there.
bedtime.
They went to bed pretty easily. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
6:02 right now, and polls will open in just under an hour for today's primary election. And it's worth a reminder that Wisconsin has closed primaries, which means you can only vote for one party. So along party lines, your ballot will be invalidated if you vote for candidates in more than one political party today. Some of the bigger races include choosing who will run against Governor Scott Walker in November. On the Democratic side of things, there are 8 candidates in that race, and Sun Prairie native Robert Meyer is running against Walker as a Republican today. Voters will also decide who should run on the Republican side of the U.S. Senate race against Democrat Tammy Baldwin. There are also 2 Democratic candidates looking to take on Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish this fall. If you're not registered to vote, you can still do so today. You will need a valid photo ID and proof of residence, though, to do that. That could be a lease, a pay stub, utility bill, or another official document that shows your current address. If you need more detailed information of acceptable forms of identification, who's running on your ballot, and where to go to vote today, you can visit myvotewi.gov. That's myvotewi.gov. Polls open at 7. They will close at 8 o'clock tonight. We will have live team coverage of all the results of the major races coming up on News 3 at 10.
Voters in Rock County and most of Walworth County will have the chance to vote for somebody new to go to Congress for the first time in 20 years. This is House Speaker Paul Ryan's seat. He says Brian Stile, the Republican candidate there, one of them, should be the one who takes his place when he retires. Stile is up against 4 other Republicans in the primary today. Those other 4 are Jeremy Ryan, Kevin Steen, Brad Boyven, and Nick Pulse. Now, the 2 Democrats trying for that seat are Randy Bryce and Kathy Myers. So there are concerns this morning, though, about how safe Wisconsin's primary and general elections will be this year after being targeted by Russian hackers in the 2016 election.
This comes as 6 federally funded election security jobs are still not filled, despite being posted earlier this spring. Josh Spreiter is live at the Fitchburg Community Center this morning, where polls will open in less than an hour. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. The state actually started the search for these election security positions back in April. When I asked the Dane County clerk about what many lawmakers are calling the slow process the state is taking at hiring these positions, here's what he had to say.
That's really been an embarrassment that those positions hadn't been hired and filled by now. I think from our point of view, that is related more to the state's online voter system. So they have the voter rolls are all online, and one source of concern is, can you get into that online database and change voters' data?
The state doesn't seem to be concerned by that, though. A spokesperson says everyone is trained to handle any problems that come up today and that they're working on getting those people hired and ready before the November general election. Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says one thing that is very helpful in minimizing the hacking that could happen today is Wisconsin being an election day registration state. That means if you go to the polls and your name isn't on the list, you can just register to vote right then and there. McDonald says another positive note is the fact that this is a partisan primary. You get to pick which party you want to participate in, and that's that. He claims both of those ideas are a nice safety net to the system. I'm told there is a paper trail for everything, so even if you use a machine, you do not have to worry. Coming up in the next half hour, I'll have more from officials on why they believe that the machines are a good thing, and you don't have to worry about that hacking. Guys, back to you.
That paper trail also in the local counties, so there's paper record locally that backs up those online records that the state has as well. All right, Josh Spreiter reporting live from Fitchburg this morning. Thank you.
New this morning, Madison police are investigating an armed robbery at an East Side hotel. This happened just after 2 a.m. at the Econo Lodge on East Washington Avenue, right across the street from Easttown Mall there. A woman told police a man staying in one of the rooms with her threatened her with a handgun and took her cash. That woman was not hurt. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call.
A 19-year-old Iowa County man set to be back in court today before his murder trial starts here in a couple of months. Austin Valdez is accused of shooting his stepfather, 46-year-old Robin Reeson, during a fight at their home in Ridgeway. Valdez says he was trying to protect his mother, who he claims was being hit and choked by her husband. He told detectives he was only trying to stop Reeson, not kill him. But prosecutors say that contact between Reeson and Valdez's mother did not result in her being hurt, and they don't believe that the shooting was justified. Valdez is now out of jail after posting a $50,000 cash bond last week. His trial is set to begin in late October.
A man from DeForest accused of shooting his wife in the head is due in court today for the last time before his trial begins. 54-year-old Corey Brown faces 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide and a felony count of intimidating a victim. He allegedly shot his wife in February, a week after she filed for divorce. She survived that shooting and was able to drive herself to the Dane County Public Safety Building in downtown Madison. Now, Brown was found unfit to stand trial at a hearing in April, but about a month after that, a judge ruled he was competent to go through with the trial.
Middleton police are asking people to lock their cars, their garages, their houses after a series of break-ins there over the weekend. City issued a crime alert after 2 cars were stolen and numerous others had things taken from inside of them. Now, these crimes happened on 7 different streets in Middleton, involved victims leaving doors unlocked. In one case, the thief entered a house through an open garage and took keys off of the kitchen counter before stealing that car.
6:07 right now, and Madison police say there could be more meetings in the future with the LGBTQ community and allies after a standing room only meeting last night. This comes after the organizers of this weekend's Pride Parade announced law enforcement would not be allowed to march in the event. The issue was the main topic of discussion last night as the police department's MPD Pride group hosted a session to discuss why that decision was made. Outreach LGBT says in years past, some members didn't feel safe with law enforcement being involved in the parade, particularly people of color and those who identify as transgender. In response, officers say they're disappointed they won't be able to be represented this year, but they understand where outreach is coming from.
And what our goal is at MPD Pride is to really engage folks and open up that line of communication so at least we can come to the table, break bread hopefully, and have a discussion about some very hard and difficult issues.
The Pride Parade takes place Sunday in downtown Madison. UW-Madison PD and the Dane County Sheriff's Office are also not allowed to march in that event.
6:08 right now. There are tickets going for a few $100s piece this morning as the Brewers head to Wrigley Field for a big 2-game series against the division-leading Cubs. We'll have a preview here in a couple of minutes.
Should be a really hot and humid afternoon in Chicago for that baseball game. Same forecast here in southern Wisconsin. You're looking live at the Platteville camera. Sunrise this morning was about 6 minutes ago, and we should see a whole lot of it today. It'll be beating down. Hattie's First Alert forecast is next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O Patio. Another muggy start this morning, almost just like yesterday. Yesterday's highs were well into the 80s and even 90s in some spots. 87 here in Madison, but 90 in Boscoville, 92 in La Crosse, and even 91 in Superior. So hot in all corners of the state. Nothing really happening to change that today. So here's a look at your primary election day forecast. If you're not a big fan of the heat and humidity, well, I would say get out early. Temperatures are going to warm quickly, and this afternoon, as we reach highs once again at 87, it'll feel like it's in the 90s when you factor in the humidity. Here's a look at our satellite and radar trends across the area. Things are pretty quiet here across the Badger State. There are some storms to our south and west, a little bit of activity to the north and west across Minnesota. That's along a cold front that will eventually move into our area, but it's a pretty slow moving front, so we will get another dry day today. Kind of a hazy start this morning. We're not able to see a whole lot of color yet from our Edgewater Skycam. No fog here in Madison, but fog has been an issue once again through the Wisconsin River Valley and a few spots to the north. Black River Falls indicating zero visibility at this time. Once the sun gets a little higher in the sky, that fog should dissipate rather quickly. Now our temperatures are in the 60s for the most part across southern Wisconsin. Some of the warmer spots this morning, Monroe and Platteville with 67 degrees. It's 62 here in Madison. Dew point trend is going to stay high today, steady in the mid 60s. So once again, a sticky afternoon. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Mostly sunny skies this morning, turning partly sunny as we head towards the afternoon. Temperatures will already be in the 80s at lunchtime. We're headed to highs in the mid to upper 80s today, but again, it is going to feel a little bit warmer. Chances for rain begin to move back into the area, but probably not until very late tonight into tomorrow morning. Best chance for rain tomorrow, though, will likely be the afternoon, when scattered showers and thunderstorms are expected. No severe weather tomorrow. However, there could be some brief heavy downpours, which would actually be pretty good news. It's been getting a little dry around here lately. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Again, not a guarantee for rain, but scattered showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday. Same chance for rain coming Thursday and even into Friday. But right now, the weekend looks dry with highs in the lower 80s. Let's get a look at your first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, we're going to start out in Jefferson County with a crash in Johnson Creek. The left lane of southbound Highway 26 is blocked at Hartwig Boulevard. It will be causing some extra slowdowns. Quiet so far, though, here in Madison on the Beltline. No delays showing up heading east or westbound. Checking out roads here in Dane County. No major delays, but there's some fog hanging around. Just make sure you drive with some extra caution when you head out the door this morning. No issues downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume won't be a factor, at least for another hour or so. And other main routes heading into the city are cruising along at the usual speeds with no crashes or issues. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. 6:15 right now. Going to be a big couple of days for Wisconsin baseball fans. Brewers and Cubs starting a two-game series at Wrigley this afternoon. The Cubs lead the Brewers by 3 games in the National League Central. The Brewers looking to shrink that deficit. The Cubs looking to add to that lead. Both teams had yesterday off. The Brewers, though, coming off a loss Sunday in Atlanta. The Cubs, meanwhile, won their last game on this walk-off grand slam. The two teams are going to play, both the Cubs and the Brewers, 8 times total before the season ends.
From baseball to football, we could find out if Aaron Rodgers will take any snaps against the Steelers Thursday night when Packers coach Mike McCarthy talks to reporters this afternoon. The franchise told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel he does hope to play in the team's last preseason game in front of the Lambeau faithful. The next 2 preseason games after that are on the road against Oakland and Kansas City. Now, Rodgers continues to trend on social media this morning after publicly criticizing his teammates' performance during practice. He said yesterday those comments were nothing personal, and he hopes players can hear them without getting offended.
If you've been trying to get a picture with all of the Buckies on parade, you'll finally be able to complete that mission by the end of this week. That is when the final Bucky on Parade statue is going to be unveiled downtown. The Crazy Legs Bucky is scheduled to be revealed at the UW Police Department at 11 o'clock on Friday morning. It's been listed as coming later this summer since the project began a few months ago. All 85 statues are going to be on display through September 12th. And after that art event ends, most of the statues are going to be auctioned off.
Election day today means city and county boards and committees won't be meeting, but Madison's Board of Public Works will get back to work tomorrow with a vote on spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to upgrade a downtown dog park. The board is expected to vote on approving plans for Brittingham Dog Park and put the project out for a bid. The city is estimating the project to cost about $340,000. That would cover the cost of installing synthetic turf, pouring new concrete, and utility work at the space right on John Nolan Drive near Broome Street. Speaking of dogs, an Iowa woman says she can't leave Wisconsin until she finds her lost dog that ran away within days of her husband passing away.
So Sarah Tiger's in Middleton this morning, where her husband Jack was in the hospital before he died last week. Her in-laws brought Jack's Shepherd Beagle mix named Hope to spend some time with him while he was being treated. About a week and a half ago, the woman taking care of Hope lost the dog in the Middleton area. Sarah's been making flyers, talking to neighbors, spending a lot of her time at the Mendota campground, where a number of people thought they saw Hope over the weekend.
She's everything. She's all I have left. And I need that connection with my husband back.
A trap in the area where Hope was last seen. You can call or text her at that number you see there on your screen. If you have any information about Hope's location, we also have that number on channel3000.com as well. Sad story.
Yeah, absolutely. So sad. Hopefully somebody out there can shoot her a text there. All right, your time right now, 6:18. There's a new consumer warning out for Uber riders this morning. The Better Business Bureau is warning about extra charges appearing on their credit cards. We'll share the details, kind of gross details, here in a couple minutes.
Humidity-wise today, it's going to be like Rice Krispie treat sticky out, maybe s'mores.
Nice.
So I know those aren't meteorological terms, but hey, that's why we have Hattie here. Our first alert forecast calling for having a change of clothes handy is next on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Here's the view from the Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville this morning. Hazy there as well, but the sun is up. Skies are mostly clear this morning. Air quality alerts are in effect for northeastern Illinois. This does include the Chicago area, so be aware of that if you're heading down there later on today. The air has been pretty stagnant over the last couple of days, so levels of particles are building up in the atmosphere and getting to the unhealthy level, especially in and around cities. No air quality alerts, though, here for southern Wisconsin right now. Light winds, so nothing happening to move the air around through the day today. We will see just a bit of an increase in the clouds. You can see those clouds off to the west this morning. They'll move into southern Wisconsin, but no rain in our forecast until much later tonight. So it's a dry day for Election Day. Temperatures will heat up rather quickly, though. We're headed to highs in the upper 80s with plenty of humidity this afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
Hattie, thank you so much. There is a warning from the Better Business Bureau this morning about a scam linked to the most popular ride-sharing app. Uber drivers in Michigan have been caught finding pictures online or even creating fake photos to claim a passenger threw up in their car. A Grand Rapids user found an extra $150 charge on his account when he didn't even get sick on the ride. The BBB is suggesting now that you check that email receipt and your bank account for these false claims, and that you pay attention to a driver's rating before getting into the car. Speaking of driving, gas prices are down a penny per gallon in Rock County this morning and steady elsewhere in Wisconsin. AAA reports drivers in Janesville and Beloit are paying the lowest prices in the state at $2.69 a gallon. Overall, Wisconsin drivers are paying $2.81 a gallon on average.
Latest unemployment rates in Rock County show an increase in the number of people living there who are now looking for work. So the Rock County Job Center in Janesville is going to be hosting a job fair this week, try to help 50 employers who have more than 1,300 job openings are going to be there between 1 and 4 tomorrow afternoon. If you're going, you are asked to bring copies of your resume. Also, do some research beforehand to learn about the employers that are going to be presenting there. You can find a list of those participating employers, the ones that have the 1,300 jobs available, on the Rock County Job Center's Facebook page.
Wisconsin-based Harley-Davidson will be hoping for a better day on Wall Street today after its stock lost nearly 4.5% of its value Monday. Those losses came a day after President Trump again criticized the motorcycle manufacturer on Twitter and appeared to encourage a boycott of the company. The company says the president's trade war with the European Union could increase the cost of a single bike sold in Europe by more than $2,000. Governor Scott Walker said yesterday afternoon in a tweet that he did not support a boycott against Harley-Davidson. Harley's stock has now fallen 18% over the past year.
A local hospice care facility is celebrating its 40th anniversary today of providing support to patients across southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. A Grace Hospice Care will be holding an anniversary party starting at 5:30 at Noah's event venue in Madison. Tickets are $30 per person, with the money raised going to help people who can't afford end-of-life care. A Grace is a nonprofit, community-based healthcare agency. 6:25 right now. One of Madison's biggest employers is starting work on another major building this morning. Leah Lynchide will share an update here in a couple of minutes.
And the city of Madison is begging UW students to donate whatever they're not taking to their new apartment this week and to not leave it on the side of the street. Yes, there's still plenty of people still doing that. We'll have the day's top stories next on News 3 this morning.
Honestly,
Investigators are looking at social media, bank records, credit card statements, all to try to find a Madison man missing in Europe now for nearly 2 months.
If you're headed to the polls on this primary election day, you may be using a machine to cast your vote. But what about hacking? I'm Josh Butter live at a polling place this morning with why officials say you shouldn't be worried.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning, almost 6:30 right now on this Tuesday morning, August 14th.
It is muggy and thick out there this morning. It's gonna be really humid and hot today. Hattie is out in it this morning with what she is calling an extra deodorant kind of forecast. Good morning, Hads.
True, yes. We continue with these dew points in the mid-60s, which means it is going to be sticky today. You'll definitely notice the humidity as you go through your afternoon, especially. A live look at the Henry Violet Zoo. Always love to see Barrett in the pool, and this for sure is a find a pool kind of forecast. So Barrett has the right idea, already hitting the pool this morning. Quarter-mile visibility through the Wisconsin River Valley, so we're dealing with some fog in those typical lower lying spots. Not a widespread issue, though, across the area. Temperatures are in the 60s this morning. Dew points are there as well, so it's a very sticky start to the day. We will be talking about heat index this afternoon, once again, as those numbers climb into the lower 90s. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic maps. There was an incident earlier on Highway 26 in Jefferson County. That has been cleared, so no accidents to report around the area or incidents to slow you down. Here's a look at drive times and speeds heading into Madison. Looks like you're still going at posted speeds as you head into the capital city. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. It's 6:30 right now. A Madison father says he is still hopeful his missing son will be found alive after disappearing 7 weeks ago in Central Europe. However, Alan Luskin says there's been no trace and few clues detailing where his 25-year-old son Jonathan might be. Alan and Jonathan's mother met with investigators in Slovenia after Jonathan went missing back in June. At the time, he was vacationing in that country and had plans to visit Croatia and Vienna as well. Luskin's parents say there has not been any activity on his computer, phone, bank account, or credit cards since he disappeared. Back in Wisconsin, State Justice Department agents are going to start investigating this morning the fatal shooting of a 48-year-old man by a Milwaukee police officer. This happened yesterday afternoon on that city's south side. Milwaukee's police chief says the man was wanted on outstanding arrest warrants and that he pulled out a gun when officers tried to take him into custody. The chief did not say whether the man had fired that gun that was recovered at the scene. Wisconsin state law now requires an outside review of all police shootings.
Bank tellers in Madison will soon have more training to protect seniors from getting mistreated when it comes to their money. Wisconsin Attorney General Brad Schimmel will release a new training video later today for bank employees, helping them to recognize when older clients may be the victims of some sort of financial abuse or a scam. The Wisconsin Bankers Association, the Credit Union League, and the Department of Financial Institutions are all partnering up on this effort. Schimmel will be at the Heritage Credit Union off Aberg Avenue this afternoon to introduce that training video. 6:32 right now, and today is Wisconsin's primary election day, and turnout is expected to be roughly 15% of eligible voters.
There's been an increased focus on election security this year, making sure you can feel confident that your vote's protected and counted. Josh Freiter's live in Fitchburg this morning at a polling location with the reasons county clerks say you shouldn't be worried. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. We're live at the Fitchburg Community Center where the doors will open in actually under a half hour now at 7 this morning. The Dane County Clerk tells me he understands why many eyes are on election security right now after Wisconsin was one of the states selected in that Russian hacker probe in the 2016 election. That's why he and other elections officials have been busy making sure nothing stands in the way of having your voice heard today. Of course, as technology develops, changes are made to the way elections work. Rather than casting your vote on paper only, some of you may have the chance to select your pick on a machine. But can that be hacked into? Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says no.
All they are is kind of expensive pencil. They just mark your ballot. And then you can see, yes, these are the names I wanted. That goes into the scanner. And then we, as part of our audit, we check to make sure in our testing that that is recording everything correctly.
McDonald says because the machines are not connected to the internet, at no stage is any equipment reachable by hackers. The state is also in the process of hiring 6 people specifically designated for election security, and we're told those positions should be in place by the November general election. Guys?
All right, always good reminders and good things to keep in mind. Josh Sprider reporting live from Fitchburg. Thank you, Josh. So if you are one of the many people moving this week, keep in mind that you can still vote in today's primaries if you change your address on Election Day. It takes 10 days to establish residency, so as long as you move within 10 days of Election Day, you'll still vote at your old polling place, not the one that matches the address of your new house or apartment.
Speaking of moving, the leases for many apartments in the downtown area end today and tomorrow. That leads to the annual tradition here in Madison some people call Hippie Christmas here in the middle of August. City of Madison says last year's student moving days led to more than 1 million pounds of furniture, appliances, and other junk being put into the Dane County landfill to help cut down on that. The city is encouraging, basically begging people to donate or sell anything they're not taking to their new place instead of leaving it on the side of the street. 6:34 right now. One of Madison's biggest employers is starting to build its new headquarters today.
The new Exact Sciences building will go up on the west side in the UW Research Park. And Leah Linshide joins us to talk more about this groundbreaking later today. Good morning.
Good morning. Some exciting news for this company. Now, you might be familiar. Exact Sciences is the company known for creating the first ever at-home colon cancer test. It's also where hundreds of local folks work. Now, this new headquarters will have 138,000 square feet of office space. It should be completed by 2020. The groundbreaking ceremony is happening this afternoon. That's where we're going to get to see some of the designs for the exterior of the building. Now, Mayor Paul Soglin is going to be there, as well as UW Chancellor Rebecca Blank. Now, this construction project, it's going to join another one by Exact Sciences already in the works. That's the facility off the Beltline and Schrader Road, where the company is building a facility to process those at-home colon cancer tests. So exciting stuff over there.
A lot of people being hired for that one in particular, too. More than 1,000 people.
For that's what
new
they facility.
Yeah.
You drive by that on the Beltline. That thing is enormous.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is. All right. Thanks, Leah.
You're welcome.
It is 6:35 right now. The government's considering banning flavored e-cigarette liquids in an effort to keep kids from vaping in the future. We'll share the latest here in about 10 minutes.
And the most successful Madison Mallard season in history is unfortunately over. We'll look ahead to what's next when News 3 This Morning continues.
Welcome back to the program. Almost 20 minutes to 7 on this Tuesday morning, the time of the morning. We always ask you to share a little bit of what's going on in your world with us. Our friend Linda Watson posted this on Facebook. This is Lake Koshkonong, I'm guessing. I think that's where she lives, down in that neck of the woods. Thank you so much for sharing, Linda. That's a beautiful picture.
Yes.
We want to know what your morning looks like. Please take a picture, put it on our Instagram page, Facebook, Twitter. Just use that hashtag MyNews3Morning so Danica and I can find it, show it, and favorite here on the program in the mornings.
6:39 right now, and it's going to be a hot one as cleanup continues at Warner Park this morning after a really long night for the Madison Mallards that unfortunately brought the team's season to an unexpected end. The Fond du Lac Dock Spiders were at the Duck Pond for the first round of the Northwoods League playoffs, and the Spiders came out swinging, and boy, did it work. Mallards lose 17-5. A 4-hour slugfest out there on the east side. The Mallards are wrapping up, though, a record-breaking season with a franchise record 49 wins.
So there are going to be a lot of determined people in Middleton this weekend looking for the snitch. We're not talking about the person who ratted them out for doing something they weren't supposed to do. No, we're talking about the 2018 Major League Quidditch Tournament that's coming to Firefighters Memorial Park on Saturday. This league's top 12 teams are going to be playing for the championship. Major League Quidditch was formed in 2015 because of the popularity of the Harry Potter books and the game played throughout the series. There are now teams in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, New York, Detroit, Indianapolis, and a host of other cities in both the United States and Canada, and they're playing the championship here in the Madison area.
That's
Saturday
cool.
and Sunday. Yeah.
What position would you play?
I'd be a beater.
What was Harry's position?
He was the seeker.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew you would know.
Yeah.
I knew you would know.
I have 2 kids that are really into it.
The Quidditch players, if they were, good thing they're not playing today, because it would be super hot and humid today. On Hattie's Muggy scale, we've been blown by bad hair day, and now we're squarely on the we need more deodorant phase. There's the chance for some more rain, and she'll let us know about it as well.
Before we get our forecast, though, it's August 14th. We want to say happy birthday to all of the kids out there turning 3 today. Thanks for letting us help you celebrate right here on News 3 this morning.
Look who's
You're looking live right now outside at the Pastel Horizon in Platteville. It's already in the mid-60s this morning. A bit of haze out there due to the humidity. And boy, is it going to be hot again today. Hattie has your full forecast coming up in just a moment here. But first, ahead of launching an anti-vaping campaign, the FDA is considering a ban on flavored e-cigarette liquids that could be more appealing to young people. The federal agency is reviewing more than 500,000 public comments as it decides whether to restrict or ban certain flavors of the liquid-based nicotine. Now, some health groups that sued the FDA for not actually regulating vaping products say the agency lets several new devices marketed toward young people to be sold without proper approval. More than 2 million middle, high school, and college-age students currently use e-cigarettes.
There's a new study that may have patients asking tougher questions before being tested for lung cancer. Researchers in North Carolina analyzed the conversations doctors had with people who are at risk for developing lung cancer and found those doctors need to communicate more clearly the potential harms of certain screenings. CT scans can help reduce the death rate associated with lung cancer, but they also trigger false positives, which can lead to unnecessary and invasive treatments.
6:45 right now. Let's turn it over to Hattie McLean with a look at this really steamy, muggy forecast. Hey, Hads.
It is kind of the dog days of August, right? We don't have any rain in our forecast today, but let's take a look at precipitation so far this month. We've had quite a few days with measurable precipitation so far, adding up to over 1.5 inches. The highest back on the 9th with almost 1/2 inch of rain. Month to date, though, we're just a little bit below where we should be by this time in the month. There are indications, though, that we might see above normal precipitation as we head through the end of August. This 8 to 14 day outlook takes us right to the end of the month and through the middle and eastern parts of the country. Looks like it could be a little wetter than normal. That might be a little good news. We are drying out now across southern Wisconsin. No rain on the horizon just yet. Still well off to the south and west with showers and thunderstorms from Omaha down into Missouri. A little bit of rain to our north and west through central parts of Minnesota. That's a lone cold front. This front right here that is slowly going to work its way through the state over the next 24 hours. As it does, it will bring a chance for some rain to southern Wisconsin, but most likely not until very late tonight into Wednesday. Then that rain chance continues in the area as this storm system tracks up from the south. So we have chances for rain, especially Wednesday afternoon and evening, and then again through the afternoon hours on Thursday and Friday. Here's a closer view, though, of what's happening as far as precipitation-wise. Precipitation potential through Thursday morning looking pretty light. It is going to be hit and miss with these showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Sun is up this morning, still looking a little hazy as you look at the atmosphere this morning. There is some fog through the Wisconsin River Valley where visibility is down to 1/4 mile, but elsewhere fog is not a big issue this morning. Temperatures are in the 60s, so another warm start to the day. We're only going to go up from there. Dew points will hold steady in the middle 60s, so once again, a sticky day. Future track heat index. Here's what it will feel like this afternoon as you approach the lunch hour. Feeling like upper 80s across all of southern Wisconsin. Those numbers go up from there, though, as we head towards the afternoon. Heat index values getting into the low 90s, so definitely a pool kind of forecast today. Temperatures then cool down a little bit for the evening hours. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have high temperatures that will stay in the 80s, but cool down a little bit. Only low 80s tomorrow. Still humid with that chance for some afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Still a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms on Thursday and Friday with highs in the low 80s. Right now, though, the weekend forecast looks very nice. Highs in the low 80s, lots of sunshine. Our pet walk forecast for today.
Rudy.
Love it. Got the face all cocked off to the side there. It is going to be hot for a walk, so make sure Rudy has plenty of water.
Heat index?
That tongue is already out.
I know. Good stuff. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next here on News 3 this morning.
It's almost 6:52. Time now for the morning sprint. Hattie has another hot, muggy day with a heat index in play. Leah Linshide's talking about a new Exact Sciences headquarters. Construction starts later today on Madison's west side.
Josh Spreiter's live at a polling place in Fitchburg with more on security concerns with today's primary election. Today, again, is Wisconsin's primary election. Clerks statewide are reminding people they do need a photo ID to vote and proof of residence. That could be a lease, a pay stub, a utility bill, some kind of an official document that shows your current address. The polls open here in a few minutes at 7 o'clock and close at 8 o'clock tonight. For details on where you should vote today, you can go to myvotewi.gov.
We do want to remind you as well that today's election is closed, meaning if you vote for more than one political party, your ballot will be invalidated. Voters will choose which of the 8 Democrats will run against Governor Scott Walker in November. They'll also decide who will run on the Republican side against U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin this fall. We'll have up to the minute results on channel3000.com throughout the day and team coverage after the polls close tonight on News 3 at 10.
I'm Josh Spreiter live at the Fitchburg Community Center this morning. Polls will open here and across the state in just a few minutes at 7 o'clock this morning. And there are concerns this morning about how safe Wisconsin's primary and general elections will be this year after being targeted by Russian hackers in the 2016 election. The state is actually in the process of hiring 6 positions which will be specifically designated to election security. Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald hopes those will be in place by the November election. If you're heading to vote today, McDonald says you shouldn't be worried. He tells me the machines are not connected to the internet, so the equipment isn't reachable by hackers. And there's a paper trail for everything, which he says they check repeatedly. For more information, visit channel3000.com.
Thank you, Josh. A Madison father says he's still hopeful his missing son will be found alive after he disappeared 7 weeks ago in Central Europe. 25-year-old Jonathan Luskin had been vacationing in Slovenia, had plans to visit Croatia and Vienna as well. His parents met with investigators in Slovenia recently. Don't have many clues, though. They say there's been no activity on his computer, his phone, his bank account, or his credit cards since he disappeared.
Back here in Wisconsin, Middleton police are reminding neighbors to lock their cars, their garages, their houses after a series of break-ins over the weekend. The city issued a crime alert overnight after 2 cars were stolen and a number of others were broken into. These crimes happened on 7 different streets across the city and all involved victims leaving doors unlocked.
It's a very muggy start on this Tuesday morning. Temperatures are in the 60s across all of southern Wisconsin and will climb from there. Here's a look at what heat index will look like later on today. Looks like we are climbing into the lower 90s later on this afternoon. And that's your first alert forecast.
Thank you, Hattie. There's a pretty dramatic story out of northern Italy this morning that we're following after a bridge partially collapsed in the city of Genoa. We've just learned one person's been rescued, taken by helicopter to the hospital. Crews are looking through 10 vehicles that were on the bridge when this highway broke. Italian media is reporting this happened during a sudden, strong storm there. Now, this is the main highway that connects Italy with France.
In London, authorities say a man deliberately crashed his car into a gate outside Parliament. They arrested that driver on suspicion of terrorism. 2 people were hurt, but they are expected to be okay. British investigators say there are no other suspects at this time and no more danger to the public there. CBS This Morning is live in London after 7 with the latest.
Flags across California are at half-staff today after a firefighter died at the scene of the largest fire in state history. It's the first reported death from the Mendocino complex fire, which is burning 2 hours north of Sacramento. It's burned an area more than 5 times the size of Madison right now. 5 other firefighters, 6 civilians have died as a result of other wildfires in Northern California earlier this summer.
Harley-Davidson stock is up very, very slightly in pre-market trading after losing nearly 4.5% of its value yesterday. Shares are down about 18% since the start of the year. President Trump criticized the Wisconsin-based motorcycle manufacturer on Twitter over the weekend and appeared to encourage a boycott of the company. Harley says the president's trade war with the European Union could increase the cost of each bike sold in Europe by more than $2,000.
Wisconsin's bankers are about to have opportunity to watch new training video designed to protect their elderly clients from financial abuse. This new training is going to be for tellers statewide. The Attorney General, Department of Financial Institutions is teaming up with the state's Bankers Association and credit unions to pay for that video.
A major Madison employer is going to break ground on the west side today on its new headquarters. Exact Sciences will build its new 138,000 square foot building near its current home in Research Park. The company's already in the process of building a new facility off the Beltline to process its at-home colon cancer tests. Mayor Paul Soglin and UW Chancellor Rebecca Blank are going to be at the groundbreaking ceremony that's happening this afternoon at 1. The new headquarters should be up and running by 2020.
Thank you, Leah. 6:57 right now, almost your time. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with one more look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Josh.
Hey guys, the westbound Beltline is picking up as everyone hits the roadways. I'd expect some brake lights to show up between Stoughton Road and West Broadway, at least within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Inbound John Olin, you're tapping the brakes at Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive at intersections heading into downtown. And other main routes leading into the city are cruising along at their posted speeds with no major crashes or issues. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh.
And the view outside this morning, it's a pool kind of day.
Yeah.
Barrett swimming at the Henry Vilas Zoo this morning. Find a way to stay cool if you can. It is going to be another hot one across southern Wisconsin. Your primary election day planner shows that temperatures will already be in the low 80s by lunchtime, headed to highs of 87 degrees. Again, it will feel like it's in the 90s.
So more absentee ballots were already taken out in the city of Madison than any other primary election in Madison history. You'll be able to see the full results tonight on News 3 at 10.